they are fixing the elections in Texas. But that does not mean that California should fix the elections because of that. Two wrongs don't make a right.
You don't buy what Governor Newsom's saying?
Of course not. Look, I've sat there in Sacramento. I've listened to the politicians for 7 years. They are not interested in giving any power to the people. The only interest that they have is to take power away from the people and grab it themselves. So this gives them a great opportunity by saying, oh, we have to fight Trump. Let's go and get rid of...
Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a political bombshell straight on Gavin Newsom's head, and honestly, California hasn't been this entertained since the last power outage. The Terminator seems tired of flexing muscles and has decided to flex his opinions instead. And here's the thing, Newsom might be wishing Judgment Day stayed in the movies. Buckle up, because when a former governor calls someone out, it's not a debate at all. It turns into a full cinematic roast, packed with protein shakes, big energy, and a whole lot of chaos.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Before we move on, hit that like button and subscribe, because missing this one would be a real crime. California might need a brand new state anthem after this mess, because Arnold just decided to remix the entire political playlist. The guy who once battled futuristic robots is now taking on modern bureaucracy, and somehow Gavin Newsom ended up as the final boss. Things have officially gone wild when the Terminator looks at California and says, "I'll be back. Just maybe after the tax is cool off."
You know, it's like there's some challenges all over the world. Los Angeles has its challenges, and I hope they solve the challenges very quickly, and that the federal government and the state and the locals all can work together in solving those problems.
I'm sure you're glad you don't have to be a decision maker anymore, or do you wish you were?
I would be more than happy to make those decisions.
Poetic, honestly. A Hollywood action hero turned governor turned global eco-warrior going head-to-head with a guy who styles his hair like it's running for office. You can almost smell the ego in the air, an awkward mix of cologne, ambition, and broken policy promises.
What's your view in terms of what should happen nationwide when it comes to redistricting?
Well, first of all, in California, it's a big mistake to go and to dismantle and to basically kind of get rid of the independent redistricting commission under the auspices of we got to have more power than the Republicans, and we got to fight Trump.
Arnold didn't just call out Gavin. No, this was a full cinematic performance. The kind of moment where you half expect him to pull out a cigar, lean back, and tell California it needs more biceps and less bureaucracy. When a former governor who once ran the state on charisma and protein powder starts lecturing the current one, the drama gets juicier than any Hollywood reboot.
I got much further when I was governor by working together with the Democrats, by letting them know they're not the enemy, that I am a strong believer that if we want to go and make California successful or America successful, we can do this the best possible way by having Democrats and Republicans work together.
Because Gavin Newsom isn't just a politician anymore, he's a walking brand. His hair has more structure than the state's economy, and his speeches sound like TED Talks written by a PR team paid in almond milk. Yet somehow, Arnold is the one bringing the heat, calling out the chaos in the very same state he once ran like a gym coach with executive powers.
It is about the United States of America. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in the red states. He's going after, it's a war. He's a wartime president. He's the head of a war party, war on women, war on voting rights, war on Hispanics, a war on this state, war on institutions, war on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American people?
The funniest part? Arnold probably didn't even mean to shake things up. He likely just made an offhand comment about California's leadership, and suddenly Sacramento was rattling harder than a 9.0 earthquake. The man sneezes, and political pundits are analyzing it like holy scripture. You could feel the collective eye roll from across the Pacific. Meanwhile, the California governor, who spends half his time convincing people everything's fine, suddenly found himself roasted by the only man who could make climate change sound like a blockbuster movie pitch. Things get even weirder when even Hollywood elites are like, wait, whose side are we on? One's all about brute force, the other about inner peace, and somehow, both think they're saving the state. The timing couldn't have been more perfect or funnier.
To fight for democracy and to get rid of your democratic principles. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing against Newsom. We don't have a fight over this at all.
Yeah, because you guys met. What was that like when you guys met together?
It was a wonderful meeting. He told me what he felt. I told him, I said, I totally get it, because this is what you need to do to be the leader of the party. I totally get it, but I'm not a party person, I said. I'm a people's person. I always will fight for the power of the people.
Newsom's been strutting around as the golden boy of progressive politics, flirting with national ambitions. And then, bam, here comes Arnold, swinging a verbal dumbbell right to the jaw. It's like California's karma decided to show up wearing sunglasses and a leather jacket. Arnold's whole vibe basically screamed, look, when I ran this place, sure, there was chaos, but at least people could afford rent. Newsom's probably wishing for an invisibility cloak right about now. Maybe one made from recycled scandals. Of course, the internet went completely wild. X was split in two. Half the users were flexing in support of Arnold's boldness, while the other half defended Newsom like he was the state's last avocado tree. Political memes multiplied faster than housing prices, and somewhere, Elon Musk was probably sprinkling popcorn emojis across the thread. Both sides are absurdly cinematic. One an action-packed blockbuster, the other a documentary insisting everything's fine, while the lights flicker.
Lastly, Brad, what's Arnie the Terminator up to in California?
So he's upset now about gerrymandering in California and in Texas. There's basically this big back and forth that's going on where in Texas, Republicans are planning on doing mid-decade gerrymandering, which is redrawing the legislative districts to give yourself more seats in Congress by kind of choosing your voters. This is something Democrats have historically been against and wanted to ban, but now they're saying they will do it too in response. So
Arnold's critique wasn't just political, it was personal. You could tell he still cares deeply about the state. It's like watching someone drive past their old mansion and seeing it crumble under new ownership. He probably tried not to comment, but there's only so much chaos a man can watch before his inner Terminator takes over. Newsom, of course, played it cool. The classic California move. Smile, deflect, and talk about innovation. But inside, you know he's fuming. Getting called out publicly by Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't something you just shrug off. It's like being roasted by a legend who ran the very same office and somehow made it look fun. And subtle? Arnold doesn't do subtle. He drops criticism like a weight plate. His diplomacy comes wrapped in metaphors about strength, discipline, and maybe a casual nod to crushing your enemies. One's built like a tank, the other like a luxury electric car. Guess which one Californians feel stuck with when the grade goes down.
Arnold is out here criticizing Trump and Gavin Newsom for doing it. I'm not sure he'll be able to actually do anything about it. It's kind of baked into our political system, but things are fine. Things are going amazing here. We're just kind of in a perpetual race to the bottom of who can take the shadiest step next to kind of rig the political system in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, do we expect anything else from the pin-up boy for stupidity, Newsom? No.
But here's the truth. When Arnold calls out Newsom, he's also calling out himself, because he helped build this circus. He's basically the founding father of California celebrity politics. Without him, Newsom might still be rehearsing speeches in front of a mirror. It's a full circle moment, the mentor turned critic, the original showman scolding his successor for missing lines. The irony is thicker than a protein shake. The state that turned governance into an entertainment franchise is now watching its past and present fight for top billing. It's like The Expendables, Sacramento edition. So, what better way to reclaim the spotlight than by taking a shot at the current king of California cool? Meanwhile, Newsom's probably pacing in front of a mirror, rehearsing his comeback. But how do you clap back at a man whose very existence is a meme? You can't out-cool Arnold. You can't out-feign him. You can only hope the next wildfire, flood, or tech scandal distracts everyone before your approval ratings start melting like ice cream in LA heat.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is against what Gavin Newsom is doing in California. And that should tell you something. Here's what's going on in California if you don't know. Gavin Newsom is pushing a plan that would weaken the state's independent redistricting commission. The commission was created to make sure that election maps are fair. No political party rigging the lines. But Newsom's proposal could give more control back to the politicians. And that's where Arnold comes in. Remember, Schwarzenegger is a Republican, but he's not necessarily a Trump guy. Yet even Arnold Schwarzenegger says this move by Newsom is wrong.
Arnold's criticism landed hard because it came from experience. He knows how tough it is to manage California's chaos, but he also knows when someone's overcomplicating things. His unspoken message was simple: stop treating this state like a philosophical experiment. Sometimes, you just have to fix the potholes. It's a brutally straightforward point. Californians don't want TED Talks about renewable energy while their cars disappear into sinkholes. They want leadership that actually leads, not just looks good on magazine covers. And that's what makes Arnold's jab sting. He's not just mocking policies, he's marking the whole aesthetic of modern politics, where leaders look like models and sound like motivational speakers, but can't even keep the lights on. That's his secret sauce, the mix of sincerity and absurdity that made him a legend. You can practically hear him saying, "When I was governor, we lifted California up," literally. And somehow you'd believe him, because even when he exaggerates, it feels more real than half of what today's politicians say.
Now, this movie star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is preparing to battle Governor Newsom over Newsom's redistricting efforts. Ashley, explain to us how Schwarzenegger is planning to fight against Newsom.
He's back. The former governor of California, he's back. He has a beef with the current governor, and he says democracy is at stake. Schwarzenegger is angry with Newsom for planning to redistrict California, who are doing that in response to the same effort.
The media went wild, of course. Headlines everywhere, commentators breaking it down like it was a heavyweight fight. One side called Arnold brave, the other said he was out of touch. Meanwhile, the rest of America just watched in confusion, wondering why California keeps turning its politics into a Netflix series. Arnold's move also exposed something deeper: the state's ongoing identity crisis. California wants to be a moral leader, a climate savior, and a tech paradise, but it can't figure out how to keep gas under $7. And Arnold basically said what everyone's thinking: maybe stop trying to save the world and just fix California first. That mix of brutal honesty and showmanship is what makes him so unpredictable. You can't tell if he's campaigning or trolling, but no chart can beat a good one-liner from the Terminator. Facts are fragile, charisma lasts forever. And in that arena, Arnold is still undefeated. The tension between the two men narrows a bigger issue: the clash between image and substance. California has mastered the art of looking successful while quietly collapsing under its own weight. Arnold just had the nerve to call it out loud, with enough swagger to make it go viral.
But, Christian, you know, you're in California. I have a lot of people here in Australia talking to me about Gavin Newsom, asking what I think about him. And I feel like this is one of those moments that's very revealing about the guy's character. I mean, if he's going to be so petty about this, you know, is everything just going to be this political fight, turning everybody into either friends or enemies?
Yeah, it's a bad look for sure. And it's something he shouldn't really be engaging with. He should just honor the ex-governor, who's obviously a huge movie star and a pop culture icon, and just leave it there. I mean, I think that's magnanimous. And I think it's what people want to see.
Somewhere in all the chaos, you can almost hear the collective sigh of Californians who've had enough of polished incompetence. Arnold became their unfiltered voice, the guy saying that everyone else's PR teams won't let them say. But don't be fooled, he's not just a retired celebrity venting. This is calculated. Every move, every statement is part of the Arnold Legacy Project. He's reminding everyone that while the new guard tweets about progress, the old guard actually got things done. Budget cuts, movie cameos, and all. Still, it's impossible not to laugh at the spectacle. Two rich, photogenic men arguing over who loves California more. It's like a beauty pageant for politicians who refuse to age gracefully. One's got the tan and the teeth, the other's got the muscles and the memories. And the more you think about it, the funnier it gets. A man whose whole career was built on pretending to save the world, now scolding another man for pretending to save the state? It's hypocrisy in high definition. and it's glorious.
And when Arnold speaks, people listen. He literally said that trying to mess with this commission is dangerous for democracy. By the way, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. Think about that for a second. It's not just Republicans that are criticizing this. Arnold has worked across party lines before, so if even he is against it, you know it's got to be a big deal. At the end of the day, fair maps mean fair elections, and nobody should be afraid of fairness, but I think Gavin Newsom is. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is calling out Gavin Newsom's plan, because once you let politicians draw their own lines, the people lose. I agree with Arnold, and I disagree with Gavin Newsom. What do you think?
Arnold might not be running for anything, but he's running laps around modern politicians when it comes to authenticity. He doesn't need consultants or slogans. His whole persona is the slogan. And when he calls out someone like Newsom, the contrast is cinematic. Newsom talks about progress. Arnold talks about action. Newsom tweets. Arnold lifts. Newsom plans committees. Arnold builds gyms. One's polished, one's primal. And in politics, primal usually wins hearts faster. Of course, the aftermath will fade like all news cycles do, but the image sticks, the former governor smirking while the current one scrambles to stay composed. It's political theater at its finest, unscripted, absurd, and somehow completely believable. Every California leader will one day face the Terminator's judgment, a symbolic torch. Except the torch is on fire, and the man holding it refuses to age. Maybe that's the moral here. Politics has become entertainment, and entertainment has become politics. Arnold's just blurring the line he helped create, while Newsom is the sequel, but the original still has the fan base.
Schwarzenegger is calling out President Trump as well, saying that gerrymandering is evil, and he used the word evil no matter who does it. It's unclear how hard Schwarzenegger will fight Newsom or what form that opposition could take. A recent picture, though, posted to Instagram showed the former governor wearing a T-shirt that read, "F the politicians, terminate gerrymandering." So we know where he stands.
So, while the headlines fade and the next controversy rolls in, one thing stays true. When Arnold speaks, people listen. Not because he's always right, but because he's entertaining. And in California, that can be more powerful than competence. Somewhere, a political consultant is probably crying into a kale smoothie, realizing that no amount of polling can compete with pure charisma. Newsom will smile and act like none of this happened. But the internet never forgets. Somewhere in the digital archives, that clip of Arnold calling him out will live forever. A permanent monument to California's endless trauma. Because in California politics, the explosions aren't on set anymore. They're real, they're loud, and sometimes they wear sunglasses. And that's how Arnold became the most talked about man in California again. Not by lifting weights, but by raising a few eyebrows.